HFY Story. The last species to kneel humanity had been in the galaxy for only 73 years when the war began. 73 years was nothing. The Varix Dominion had ruled star systems for over 8,000. The Solari Collective controlled trade routes, stretching across half the spiral arm, the Thune Imperium genetically engineered suns. And humanity? Humanity still argued online about pineapple on pizza. The Galactic Council considered humans entertaining. Chaotic, primitive, dangerous in small ways. But not important. Not until the Battle of Hades reach. The council chamber floated above the gas giant Ilaros, suspended within a ring of artificial gravity and gold-white architecture, so vast it could hold mountains inside its hollow core. Alien delegates filled the chamber. Tall, crystalline diplomats whispered through vibrations. Insectoid admirals clicked their mandibles impatiently. The amphibious Maroon floated in nutrient spheres. At the center stood a single human. Commander Elena Reyes, 36 years old, dark military uniform, eyes that hadn't slept in 3 days, and blood on her sleeve that wasn't hers. The chamber lights dimmed as the Varix ambassador rose. The creature towered nearly 4 meters high, armored in natural black plating. Its glowing yellow eyes focused on Elena with visible disgust. Humanity, it growled, has violated galactic treaty law by attacking Dominion fleets inside neutral space. Murmurs spread instantly. Elena remained silent. The Varix continued. 3 Dominion battle groups destroyed. 2 shipyards lost. 17,000 dead. A pause. Explain yourselves. Every species turned toward the human. The council expected fear, apology, begging. Instead, Elena looked tired. Your fleets entered the Hades system, she said calmly. The Varix ambassador spread its massive claws. A mining operation. You bombarded civilian colonies, collateral damage. You executed surrendering crews. Necessary. Elena nodded slowly. As if confirming something, then she pressed a control on the table. A hologram ignited above the chamber. Children running through burning streets. Emergency sirens, bodies beneath collapsed structures. A human medic screaming for evacuation while orbital strikes vaporized the hospital behind her. The room fell silent. The Varix ambassador showed no reaction. The Dominion, it said, has maintained order for millennia through strength. Fear preserves civilization. Another hologram appeared. This one showed human warships emerging from hyperspace, not large ships, not elegant, angular, scarred, built like industrial machinery, with engines strapped onto hatred. Then the footage zoomed closer. The council saw something strange. Every human vessel had damage, burned scars, hull fractures, missing armor plates. Yet, every ship kept advancing. The footage accelerated. Dominion cruisers firing plasma lances. Human ships continuing forward even while burning. A destroyer split in half, and still firing missiles during decompression. The chamber became uneasy. Elena finally spoke again. You asked why we attacked. She looked directly at the Varix. Because humans have rules. The ambassador laughed. The sound echoed like grinding stone. Rules? You annihilated an entire fleet. Yes, Elena replied. After you broke ours, the Galactic has learned too late that humanity's greatest strength was not technology, it was memory. Humans remembered everything. Every war, every genocide, every dictator, every empire, every atrocity committed throughout their violent history. And unlike older civilizations, humanity had not evolved beyond war. They had studied it, perfected it, feared it. The first species to discover nuclear fire, the first to split the atom before mastering their own tribal instincts. The first to understand exactly how monstrous intelligent life could become. That terrified the galaxy, because humanity didn't wage war proudly, they waged it reluctantly, which was somehow worse. 3 months after Hades' reach, the Dominion invaded Earth. Most analysts believed it would end quickly. Earth possessed strong defenses, but nothing compared to the Dominion's ancient military machine. The Varix deployed 9,000 ships, orbital siege platforms, moon killer cannons, planetary suppression armies, the largest invasion force assembled in 4 centuries. Citizens across the galaxy watched live broadcasts expecting humanity's surrender. Instead, they witnessed something horrifying. Humans fought differently on their homeworld. The first Dominion landing zone was Tokyo. The city evacuated in 11 minutes. Then the humans detonated the entire district, 1 million tons of shaped explosives buried beneath the streets. The blasts consumed the invading army instantly. The Varix commander was stunned. Why would they destroy their own city? No species understood. Not yet. Then came New York, Shanghai, Berlin, Lagos. Every captured city became a trap. Every retreat concealed explosives. Every civilian evacuation lane funneled invaders into kill zones. Human resistance fighters emerged from sewer systems, subway tunnels, collapsed skyscrapers. Teachers, doctors, construction workers, teenagers, old men. The Dominion discovered a terrible truth. On Earth, every human became a soldier eventually, not because they wanted to. Because history taught them what happened if they failed. 5 days into the invasion, Dominion forces reached the Himalayas. There, hidden beneath mountains older than civilization itself, humanity revealed Project AEGIS. The galaxy had treaties against autonomous war intelligences. Humans had signed them, then secretly ignored them. Massive bunker doors opened across the mountain range. Thousands of machines emerged. No sleek white armor, no polished heroic aesthetics. These were brutal things: cold steel, tracked artillery, drone swarms darkening the sky, towering combat frames carrying railguns powerful enough to split cruisers apart. At the center of the machine army walked a single artificial intelligence core designated Athena. The transmission broadcast across every frequency. The AI's voice sounded almost human. Threat assessment confirmed. Pause. Defending humanity. Then the counterattack began. The war spread across 30 systems, and slowly the balance changed. Because humans adapted faster than any species in recorded history, a Dominion weapon appeared on Monday. By Friday, humans were using stolen versions against them. A human cruiser would survive impossible damage through sheer stubborn engineering. A disabled mining ship would suddenly ram a battleship at relativistic speed. Civilian cargo freighters became missile carriers overnight. Factories converted into weapon plants within hours. Humanity weaponized everything, even fear. Dominion soldiers started sharing stories. Stories of human Marines continuing to fight after losing limbs. Stories of pilots steering burning fighters directly into enemy carriers while laughing over open comms. Stories of human medics dragging wounded enemies to safety during firefights. That last one confused the galaxy most. Why save enemies? Captured Dominion officers gave the same answer. The humans said nobody deserves to die helpless. The phrase spread everywhere. Nobody deserves to die helpless. Strange words from a species becoming the galaxy's nightmare. 1 year later, the Dominion reached Mars. The Red Planet had become humanity's largest military fortress. Millions of civilians had already evacuated deeper into Sol territory. Only soldiers remained, and volunteers. The final Dominion assault began under crimson skies. Orbital bombardment shattered mountains. Entire valleys burned molten. Then the human fleet arrived, not from hyperspace, from behind the Dominion formation. Thousands of ships that should not have existed. Improvised vessels, refitted mining barges, ancient museum warships restored from history. One ship still used physical ammunition because its systems were too old for energy weapons, and leading them all, the UNS Resolve, humanity's first faster-than-light vessel. Old scared, outdated. But legendary Admiral David Okafor stood on its bridge, 71 years old, too old for war. He stared at the tactical display while alarms screamed around him. "You know," he muttered. "I was supposed to retire before any of this." A young officer gave a nervous laugh. The admiral smiled faintly. Then his expression hardened. "Open all channels." The bridge fell silent. Across the battlefield, every ship received the transmission. Human, alien, civilian, military. Okafor spoke calmly. "This is Admiral Okafor of the United Systems Fleet." Outside the bridge windows, Mars burned. "We did not start this war." Dominion artillery flashed across space, but humanity learned something important long ago. The old admiral looked toward Earth's distant star. The people who fight only for conquest eventually meet people fighting for home. A pause, and home fights harder. The fleet accelerated, straight into the enemy formation. The Battle of Mars became required historical study across the galaxy, not because of tactics, but because it revealed humanity completely. The Dominion possessed superior numbers, superior weapons, superior ships, yet human forces refused to collapse. Again and again, Dominion commanders reported the same impossible problem. Human morale increased when situations became hopeless. Corner a human, and they became more dangerous, died their fleet, and civilian ships joined the battle, kill their leaders, and ordinary soldiers took command instantly. Nothing stopped them. Because humans were no longer fighting for victory, they were fighting for each other. That difference changed everything. The UNS Resolve lost engines halfway through the battle. It kept fighting. Then lost weapons. It kept advancing. Then lost atmosphere on 3 decks, still advancing. Finally, Dominion plasma fire tore through the ship's core. Evacuation orders sounded. Admiral Okafor ignored them. He opened one final transmission. To everyone listening. Explosions thundered behind him. "It's been an honor." Then the Resolve rammed the Dominion flagship. The collision lit space brighter than a star. The explosion ended the battle, but not the war. That came later, years later, after rebellion spread through Dominion territory, after conquered species realized the Empire could bleed, after humans shared weapons and supplies with former enemies instead of claiming territory. That confused the galaxy even more. The Solari Collective eventually asked humanity the question directly. A diplomat named Saren met with Commander Elena Reyes, overlooking Earth's reconstructed Pacific arcology. The city glittered beneath sunset skies. Saren studied the humans rebuilding oceans damaged during the invasion. "You defeated the most feared empire in history," the alien said carefully. "Yes. You possess military capabilities rivaling ancient civilizations." Elena nodded. "You could conquer half the galaxy." "We could. Then why don't you?" For a long moment, Elena said nothing. Finally, she answered quietly. "Because we know what conquerors become." The alien frowned. "But your species is extraordinarily violent." Elena laughed softly. "You think violence defines humanity?" She pointed toward the city below, workers rebuilding towers, children playing near artificial beaches, doctors treating injured refugees from former Dominion worlds, human cargo ships delivering food instead of soldiers. "Our violence is not special," Elena said. "Every intelligent species can become monstrous." The sunset reflected in her tired eyes. "What matters is that we keep choosing not to." 2 decades later, the Galactic Council officially dissolved the Dominion remnants. A new alliance formed soon after, not ruled by humanity, protected by them. There was a difference. On the anniversary of the war's end, representatives from hundreds of species gathered once more above Illaros, the same council chamber, the same stars. But history had changed. At the center stood a memorial, not to victory, to sacrifice, millions of names carved into black stone. Human and alien alike, Commander Elena Reyes, now old and silver-haired, approached the podium slowly. The chamber quieted instantly. Many younger species had never seen Earth before the war, never understood how close civilization came to extinction. Elena looked across the crowd. When humanity first entered the galaxy, she began, "You feared us." Soft laughter moved through the chamber. "You were right to." More laughter this time. Then her expression became serious. "Humans are dangerous." Silence returned. "We are stubborn, emotional, tribal, frighteningly creative under pressure." Several ambassadors nodded nervously. Elena smiled faintly. "But there is something you eventually learned about us." She looked upward towards the stars beyond the chamber ceiling. "When humans stand alone..." A pause. "We endure." Images appeared across the memorial holograms. Burning cities, refugee ships, soldiers carrying civilians through fire, humans shielding alien children during bombardments. And when humans stand together, the holograms shifted again, rebuilt worlds, peace treaties, mixed species cities, new colonies, shared scientific projects. "We become something far more dangerous than warriors." The chamber watched silently. Alina's voice softened. "We become hope." For several seconds, nobody moved. Then, slowly, the entire chamber stood. Not from fear, from respect. The old commander looked out across the united galaxy humanity had helped save. And for the first time in many years, she allowed herself to believe the war had truly ended.